Hey guys, I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but I want to just go through what you guys are going to be doing in class today and what my expectations are for this class period time. So please make sure you have Google Classroom open, obviously you do already, and take a look at the daily agenda slide. So for my A group of students, please make sure that you are doing your attendance in Infinite Campus. My B group of students, your attendance is being taken care of, so you don't have to worry about anything. You will be having a graded assignment today on functions, okay? You may use all of your notes on this assignment, but you may not talk to one another about it. You can't look other things up. After that, the rest of this video is going to be about zero and negative exponents. There's guided notes posted in Google Classroom. That guided notes, guys, if you have an opportunity to print those guided notes out on exponents, I definitely suggest that you do, because those are the notes that we're going to be using for the next few weeks, okay? And then you will have a worksheet assignment as well. So going through, you had homework, guys, on functions, okay? So here are your answers for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also posted in Google Classroom is like the worked out of how you would do each problem as well, just in case you wanted to see some of the worked out sample answers. There's 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then 9 and 10, and this is what it should look like down here at the bottom. All right, guys, so it is time for your graded assignment. In Google Classroom, it is labeled Functions, Quizzes, Graded Assignment. You may use all of your notes. If you do any work on a separate piece of paper, please make sure you take a picture of that and submit it as well. You only get one chance at this, so please make sure that you are not misclicking. Please make sure you are taking your time on this assignment. You may use all of your notes, like I said before. You may use a calculator, but you may not use your phones. You may not talk to one another about the question. So please make sure that you are following my directions. Okay, so please pause the video and go work on that graded assignment. All right, so hopefully you completed that graded assignment and you guys are back. What we are doing now, guys, is the exponent graphic organizer. Okay, with this exponent graphic organizer, sorry about that. With this exponent graphic organizer, we're going to be going a little bit out of order. So we are actually starting with the 0 exponent rule, which is actually at the bottom. So the awesome part about this, guys, is that we can use our calculators to kind of go along with this. Okay, so x to the 0 power, anything to the 0 power is actually just 1. All right, and we can test this out. You can put 7 to the 0 power in the calculator. And if you do that, let me pull the calculator up. If I go and put 7, oops, do that, 7 to the 0 power, I get an answer of 1. You can put 852 to the 0 power, and you are still going to get 1. So everything, okay, everything to the power of 0 is just 1. All right, and what that looks like here, okay, so this was 1. All right, so this problem that we have over here, this is really 7 times x to the 0 power. So x to the 0 power is 1 times 7 is just 7. All right, now we're going to do a few more examples here. So if you want to flip your paper on the back, all right, and if you could label part of your notes there, 0 exponent, we're just going to do a few examples. 0 exponent rule. Okay, so like we had said before, I could do 532 to the first power, or to the 0 power, excuse me, and that is just going to be 1. I could do 5,653 to the 0 power, and again, that is just 1. All right, but if you put like x to the 0 power is just 1. But if you put something in front of it, say 35, x to the 0 power, x to the 0 power is 1, but there's really a multiplication symbol in there, so that is really actually 35. Okay, so making sure that you understand what that 0 power actually looks like and what it does. All right. If you have questions, guys, please pause. Make sure you're taking good notes there. All right. So the next rule we are going to go to is the negative exponent rule. All right, the negative exponent rule, again, we could try out in the calculator. Okay, so if I bring my calculator back up here. There we go. All right, bringing out that calculator. So if I put in here 2 to the negative 1 power, that actually gives me 0.5. All right, if we put in here 3 to the negative 2 power, that gives me this long decimal. So let's see if we can figure out what this actually means in terms of our exponents. Sorry, it's loaded. There we go. All right. So what this actually means is that we are actually taking it and we are flipping the fraction. So this is really 1 over x to the a power. So I want to look at number 2 here first. This is 4 to the negative 3rd power. So if I would put that in the calculator, 4 to the negative 3rd power, okay, I get this crazy decimal, but if I turn it back into a fraction, I get 1 over 64. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out here what that actually means in terms of this problem, 1 over 64. Okay, so we already said that this is really 1 over x to the a. You just flip it. And when you flip it, the exponent becomes positive. So I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to put this 4 to the 3rd on the bottom. I'm going to put a 1 on the top there, and the 4 to the 3rd, if I plug that into the calculator, is really 64. So this becomes 1 over 64. Okay, taking a look here at the problem just above here, negative 5, x to the negative 2. Only things with negative exponents flip. Okay, so this negative 5 is going to stay because this is really negative 5. There's really a multiplication symbol in there. The x to the negative 2, because it has a negative exponent, it's going to flip to the bottom and the exponent is going to become positive. And there we go. We're done with that one. We have that one there. Okay, so again, I would like you to flip your paper onto the back, please. Okay, and you already have 0 exponent labeled on there, and you have a few examples. I would like you to please put there that we are going, or sorry, you have 0 exponent on the back already. Please label part of your paper as negative exponent. All right, so negative exponent here. Let's look at our first one. If I have 4y x to the negative 5th. Okay, let's go term by term, because remember, there's really multiplication symbols in between each of these. So the 4 does not have a negative exponent, so it's going to stay where it's at the top. The y does not have a negative exponent, so it's going to stay where it's at the top. The x has a negative exponent, so that means it must flip. It's currently on the top, so it needs to flip positions, and it needs to flip to the bottom. And once it does that, your exponent now is positive for you. So your final answer is 4y over x to the 5th. Okay, take a look at another one. If I have 2 to the negative 3rd, x, z to the negative 7th. Okay, again, remember, there's really multiplication symbols in between them. So let's go through each term. So the 2 has a negative exponent, so that needs to flip to the bottom. The x has a positive exponent, because there's really a 1 there. So that is going to stay on the top. The z has a negative exponent, so that needs to flip to the bottom. And remember, when things flip, the exponents become positive. All right, so we are almost finished here. We need to take care of this 2 to the 3rd. If you plug that in the calculator, 2 to the 3rd, you really get an 8. So I have x over 8z to the 7th. Okay, let's take a look at another one here. Let's do 2b over a to the negative 8. All right, so again, term by term here. So look at the 2. The 2 has a positive exponent, so that's just going to stay where it's at the top. The b has a positive exponent because there's a 1 next to each of those. So it's going to stay where it's at. And let's go down here to the a. The a has a negative exponent, so it needs to flip spots. So since the a is at the bottom right now, it needs to flip positions, it needs to flip spots, and it needs to go to the top. So anytime it flips, it now has a positive exponent. So you now have 2ba to the 8th power, and that is your final answer. And all right, let's take a look at a few more here. Some of them are going to get a little bit more challenging. So I have 6a to the negative first, c to the negative third, all over d to the 0 power. Okay, so again, term by term. There's really multiplication symbols in between them. Look at the 6. Okay, the 6 really has a positive exponent there of 1, so it's got to stay at the top. All right, so let's keep looking here. The 6 had an exponent of 1, so that stayed. The a has a negative exponent, so that needs to move to the bottom. Okay, the c also has a negative exponent of 3, so that also needs to switch spots, so that needs to come to the bottom here. All right, and then this d, I'm bringing in that last, that previous rule that we learned, d to the 0 power, that is just a 1. Okay, so you can have the 1 there, but if you think about it, all these things are being multiplied together and 1 doesn't do anything. You can just kind of keep that away, and that would be your final answer. Okay, last problem here that we are going to do to put in your notes. So I have here a z s to the 0 power, t to the negative third, all over 2 to the negative first, m to the second power. Okay, so if you guys could pause the video and try to work this one out, that would be awesome. So hopefully you actually paused the video, so let's go through this step by step. Now remember, each one of these is a separate term, so we have to look at each one individually. So I have a 7 here, really that has an exponent of 1, so that's going to stay where it's at on the top. The s, exponent of 0, so that really just becomes a 1. I don't need it anymore. Okay, the t to the negative third power, since that has a negative exponent there, that needs to flip to the bottom. So let's go to the bottom here. The 2 has a exponent of a negative 1, so that needs to flip spots, so that needs to come to the top. And the question is, this really isn't a 72. I need a multiplication symbol in between there. And then come back to our original problem, this m to the second power. It has a positive exponent, so it needs to stay where it's at. It's on the bottom, so it needs to stay on the bottom. Now let's look to see if there's anything else we can do. I have a 7 times 2 on the top. I can make that a 14. So I have a 14 t to the third, m to the second power. Okay, so those are your notes, guys. You should have written all those on the back of your paper here. Oops, let's erase all of that. So this screen here just tells you what your homework is. Your homework, guys, is the 0 and negative exponent worksheet. Okay, please make sure you're submitting by the due date. It is posted in Google Classroom. Make sure you are showing all of your work. All right, and I look forward to seeing you guys in class next week on Tuesday. Have a good day, guys. Bye.